Welcome to Fractional Frequency, our take on talent, people trends, and the reality of building up businesses in an economy that keeps rewriting the rules. I'm Amy Crook, founder of Stratavis.
And I'm Erin Totis, Managing Director of Talent Delivery, which basically means I live in the universe of finding the right people to make an impact for our clients fast.
Around here, we talk about the real side of HR and talent, what works, what absolutely doesn't, and how to build teams that can carry a business, not drag it down.
We'll break down trends, share the behind the scenes of scaling a consultancy from zero, and probably overshare a little because that's where the good lessons live.
So whether you're building, hiring, leading, or just trying to keep your company profitable, you're in the right place.
This is Fractional Frequency. Let's get to it.
Hi, Erin.
Hi, Amy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
I am great. And even better, I am so excited to welcome Cara Laban, a solopreneur who has recently launched travelready.com, a platform that curates customized travel prep actions and tasks for international travelers. And today we will dive into her path from an aspiring actress, waitress, entertainer, and even a simulated patient to now an early stage tech founder and author. When we met Cara, we found ourselves just pulled into her story, laughing along the way, and most importantly, struck by her wisdom on topics like finding your passion, being true to yourself, and defining success at different phases of your journey. So I cannot wait to hear more. Welcome, Cara.
Thank you so much for having me. What an intro. Can't wait to chat with you guys.
Your background is so impressive, and I cannot wait for our listeners to hear more from you. So let's just get right into it. I remember learning when we spoke last time, you initially chased a dream that led you to waitressing in New York City and then Australia. Can you talk about those early professional experiences and how they shaped your understanding of work?
Yeah, for sure. I went to school. So I got my degree, my bachelor's in applied psychology. And if you know anything about getting a bachelor's in psychology, or is called a BS in psychology, it is exactly that, because it does not qualify you to do anything in the real world without a master's, except HR. So I got an internship my last year of college at doing HR at an engineering firm. And within 2 months of being there, they offered me a job, but I was like, over my dead body will I work in an environment like this. The fluorescent lights, like not being able to control the temperature, having no windows in the office that we were in, and like only being able to go outside for 5 minutes during my lunch break. I was like, this is not the life for me at all. I had dreams of becoming an actress, which is why I majored in psychology in the first place. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to pursue it. So I moved into the city from Long Island, where I'm from. And as all actresses do, as you know, I became a waitress. And I was a damn good waitress. I was really, really good. My sales were always super high. And I was so good that they had me coming in all the time. I was one of the only people they trusted to close. So on one of my days off, I had a whole day planned. It was going to be lovely. I was going to walk across the Brooklyn Bridge. I had my sketch writing class, and I was so looking forward to just being outside. And then I got a text from my boss while I was already out saying, can you come and close? So-and-so's dad had a heart attack and she can't close now. And I was like, I'm such a people pleaser, so I can't say no. I can't say no to this. So
not when there's a heart attack in the equation.
No, not when there's a heart attack. I was like, but there's really no one else. You asked everyone, please. And she was like, yeah, so-and-so is out of town and you're the only other person I trust to close. And I was like, okay. Oh, she trusts me. They trust me. Yeah. So I went home because I had to get my uniform, which was in the laundry because I hadn't had time to even do my laundry yet that day. And it was like pit stained. It was a little white, the little white shirts that go under a dirndl, because I worked at a German beer house.
Yeah.
So it was the little white shirt. My dirndl stayed at work, but the little white shirt that went underneath it I had to take it out of laundry. It was like so gross.
Oh.
And I was like waiting for the subway to come. And I just remember standing there thinking, like, I'm so miserable. I'm not following my dreams. I'm barely going on auditions because I'm working so much. And I was like, maybe I don't go into work. Maybe I jump. Maybe I just jump instead. And then I was like, being so honest. And then I was like, I'm too much of a people pleaser. I'm going to ruin other people's days.
What if they can't get their beer because of me?
Yeah. The beer, the people on the train, all of them ruined if I don't. So I got on the train and I literally Googled how to move to the other side of the world. And that's how I learned about the Australian working holiday visa. And 6 months later, I moved to Australia. And guess where I worked? A German beer hall in Melbourne. So that started me on my travel journey. And after I left Australia, because the visa was for 2 years, then I continued to travel, and that's what led me to where I am now.
And you worked a variety of different roles along the way. I mean, no variety in the beginning, right? One beer house, next beer house, but then there were some other things. Tell us a little bit about that sort of phase of odd jobs, if you will, and what did you learn from that in that what you wanted or maybe what you didn't want?
Yeah. So I went to the same restaurant essentially in Australia, which was so crazy. I really don't want to do that, but I was struggling to find a job. And then at that job, Australia, the pay system works quite differently than it does here. There's no tipping at restaurants, so your salary is much higher, which also means you get way less hours unless you're full-time. And I did not want to be full-time because when you're full-time, they work you a lot.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, I'm going to keep whatever hours I have at the restaurant, but I need other jobs. So I joined all of these like gigging platforms. There was Sidekicker. I was on the acting websites there. I was also acting. And I started picking up these random side gigs all around. So it started mostly with like brand ambassador work and promo modeling, which are essentially the same thing. So, a brand will have an activation at a mall or, whatever store. So I just go, I wear the company shirt and I pass out flyers or I engage with people, whatever it is. And then through the acting site I was on, I got a children's entertainer gig. So I was an elf at Bunnings, which is like Home Depot over there.
No.
I was an elf. I had to like run around and I was hiding from the kids and handing them like candy canes. I did like some other Christmas stuff. I worked with like an Easter bunny. My favorite was Halloween. I wore this like mask thing that sat over my shoulders. So I was like probably 6'7" wearing this.
No. Oh my goodness. Like a mascot costume almost.
Like a what costume?
Like a mascot.
Oh, a mascot, kind of, yeah. And I was just scaring kids. Like there's like a trick-or-treating town area. And I was just scaring these kids. Why am I breaking up? Or do you guys see?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
Wait, somebody paid you to just go around and scare children in a big mask? Like, what's going on in Australia?
I was paid like $50 an hour to do that.
Wow.
Pays well.
Yeah, that was my favorite. The kids kept being like us, but I would scare them every time anyway. I was just I like delivered cheese in a truck for $40 an hour. The jobs were crazy. And then I became a simulated patient. That one I also got through the acting website, actually. And I had never heard of this before, but basically you go to the med schools and you pretend to be a patient. So they give you a scenario before you get there that you have to memorize. So I had one where like I was suffering these migraines and I had to cry over and over again for each patient, be like, I'm just so stressed and I can't sleep and whatever. And you're helping them learn bedside manner. And you're also helping them with their exams. So I had one where I had to go and they gave it to me last minute. And they're like, you fell out a window at a party. You have a cut on your arm or your hand or something. We're going to wrap it up. And you've lost nerve damage. So when they touch here, you can feel it, but when they touch here, you can't feel it. And that's really important because that's how they're gonna like. And I was like, oh my God, that's so much pressure because this is
Yeah.
final exam. That was a fun job. And that also paid like $55 an hour or something. And this was 10 years ago almost. So it pays more now.
Wow.
So
Wow.
those jobs were super fun. But what I realized in doing that is I love having a million things to do and I hate sticking to one thing and I hate having like a boss, like one single boss.
Mhm. And so all worth it to come to those conclusions. I think there are so many people who never allow themselves to realize or maybe articulate those things, even just to themselves. And then they just continue on whatever hamster wheel they happened onto after their studies or whatever. And so you are currently writing a memoir, and it's called How to Do Anything, Even If You're Lazy. What does that title mean? Tell us a little bit more about that, and how does that mindset define your approach to entrepreneurship?
So I define myself as lazy. Other people probably wouldn't, right? Because they're like, you're traveling the world, you're a freelancer, you're doing this, you're doing that. But I've always done everything from my bed. So even my first year of university, I went away to school and I like never left my bed. I was studying in my bed. I was doing everything in my bed. My roommates would be like, Cara, you got to go eat dinner. Like please come. It's Halloween. Please come out with us. I'm like, I just love bed so much. And that's kind of always how it's been. I don't work out. I just love being comfy cozy. I do as many things horizontally as I possibly can. And yet I've traveled the world. I've started businesses. I've been freelancing and hustling and all of that. So the book is really about how to not will yourself, but trick yourself, how to find systems that work with you and your brain. Because our brains all work so differently and we think we're supposed to fit into this structure or the system of the world as it's been designed. And a lot of us don't fit into that, whether it's ADHD, whether it's depression or anxiety, because I do struggle with depression and anxiety, a bit of OCD type tendencies. So the book is like a combination of a memoir of all of these stories and how I figured out how to make life work, how to make it fun, how to, not only wake up and get out of bed, but brush my teeth more regularly, vacuum the floor more regularly, how to start a business. Like, it's just, it could apply to any of the small or big things, just figuring out how to identify the systems that will work for you.
I think that's so powerful because it's kind of a false assumption that everyone's just got it figured out. And everybody's dealing with the same challenges, be it, a laundry list of mental health concerns or just don't know like where to start. So I think it's such a great concept. I'm super excited to read it. I'm curious, Cara, as you're in the early stages of being a solopreneur, how has your definition of success changed, like over time?
So interesting you ask, because I just got off of therapy and I was saying, sometimes I really struggle with looking at myself and being like, I'm not as successful as other people in my life who make a lot more money than I do. And my therapist was like, I would say you're very successful. You do so much that other people wish they did. Like you have a savings account, even if it's not a huge amount, you're not in debt. And all while doing that, you've been traveling the world. You've been doing whatever you want. This is very funny. Last week I was at like this schmoozy opening night party for a Broadway show. They had a party afterwards and I was with a friend of mine who's in the industry. And he introduced me to someone who's a producer and they were talking. And he looked at me and he was like, are you in the industry? And I was like, no. And he said, oh, what industry are you in? What do you do? And I said, whatever I want.
I like that answer.
He was like, that's the best answer I've ever gotten to that question. And I'm really, really trying to make that my definition of success, is that I truly do whatever I want. And
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are jealous of that. And while I'm not monetarily super successful at this point, I hope to be, I plan to be.
Mhm.
Uh, but I've really done so much of what a lot of people only dream of doing.
Yeah.
People say to me all the time, I want to be you when I grow up. My mom has said that to me. So
I mean, adventure is what it's all about, I think, Uh, it's it's a brief moment in time that we get to experience life, and I just think you have to make the most of it. And if your definition of success is so entangled into things that are so subjective, it's really difficult to like have a steady foundation. So I completely relate to what you're saying in that, yeah, if you define success by giant bank accounts or fancy job titles, then no, I'm not going to meet your definition of success at this precise moment in time. But I'm so happy and I'm having so much fun that I don't even care what you think.
yeah.
It's, and I think that's really powerful. So it's great to hear you say that. You were accepted to the Web Summit Alpha program, and you were recently featured in the New York Times. Which of these milestones feels like more powerful for you, more critical for you?
Oh, that's a good question. So they happened a few months apart from each other. They felt similar at the time of them happening because Web Summit happened first. And that was like the first thing, big thing that I had done with Travel Ready. I was like, I'm going to present this to somebody who's not a family member or friend. And getting accepted felt really validating.
Mhm.
But getting featured in the New York Times was, that's like, oh, like that's just a dream come true. That like people are like, how'd you get in the New York Times? That's insane. So I think that they were both, they felt similar at the moment, but looking back on them now, the New York Times just like, I don't know if I'll ever have success like that again.
Well, I mean, you're starting big, so the only
Yeah,
way is up.
hopefully.
So, when you look back on all of this journey, and honestly, I love your story. Not only are you like hilarious, but you're somebody who has never been afraid to try something different or just make a big move. What's the greatest lesson that you've learned about being true to yourself throughout all of those iterations of life?
Something I have to remind myself and other people of a lot. It's okay to change your mind.
Mm,
Okay to announce to the world that you're doing this and then doing something else. And I think a lot of people struggle with that.
yeah.
I still struggle with it. I judge myself often. I've had so many ideas, but that's kind of what an entrepreneur brain does. I have an idea, I announce it to the world, I do some market research, and I'm like, maybe not the best idea. And then I have to pivot.
Hmm.
And it could be embarrassing to be like that.
Mm.
But I think I'm judging myself more than others are judging me on that. I think other people are like, I wish I had ideas. Why do you have so many ideas? Where did
Yeah.
that come from? So I really think it's okay for at any stage in life. Like I went to school initially to do biomedical engineering, and then I changed my mind. And then I ended up doing psychology. Changed my mind. I didn't really want to do that. And then like I just kind of keep changing my mind. I'm trying now to stick to some things. But I wouldn't have gotten here if I didn't allow myself to change my mind.
I love that.
Always allowed to change your mind. I think that not enough people believe that in so many contexts, and it's empowering to hear you say that. It's not the end of the world if you announce something even to a lot of people and then change your mind and do something different. And so I've got another question, Cara, that's a little bit of a dovetail to this. Are there any myths about finding your passion or finding your next passion, maybe, that you would say you had to unlearn on your path to where you are today?
I think passion is such a interesting take when people say like follow your passion or like work with your passion, you'll never work a day in your life or something. That's the
Mm.
saying or something like that,
Oh
right?
yeah, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Yeah.
Something like that, right? But I don't love working. There's just no part of me that's ever going to love working. So if I did what I love, it would be napping.
Mhm. Just not enough
Um,
money in napping.
there's not enough money
Fix that.
to nap. Um, yeah. So, I mean, I'm passionate about a lot of things and I'm not trying to monetize any of them.
Mm.
Because sometimes I do think trying to monetize your passions could like dampen
Yes. Yeah.
them. Like they're now there's so much pressure on yourself to do the thing that you love and to make money from it.
Mm.
Whereas for me, like Travel Ready, for the longest time, people are like, you should start a travel blog. You should do a this with travel. You should do a that with travel. And I didn't want to do it because it was going to ruin travel for me. I was like, I don't want to have to remember to take pictures, to write this down, to do this, to do that. But now I kind of just naturally let my talents lead me to Travel Ready because that's taking my systems brain, which is what I've been freelancing in, is helping small businesses and people with their business and life systems.
Mm-hmm.
And Travel Ready kind of marries systems with travel because it is like onboarding almost. It's like client onboarding for international travel. So
Mm-hmm.
you know everything before you go. Whereas like I don't have to ruin my trip by writing down all of the restaurants I liked and all of the whatever. I mean, some people love doing that, but for me that wasn't what I loved. So now it's just more the things that I'm naturally talented at, not so much a passion.
Mm-hmm.
So I think leave your passions your passions. If you want to monetize it and it's not going to ruin it for you, do it. But don't feel pressure when people are like, you're so good at knitting. You should sell that. Don't feel pressure to do that because it
Right.
might ruin knitting for you
Yeah. Yeah.
or whatever it is. Yeah. Did that answer your question?
It did. And I think that I've got a lot of curiosity about your next chapter because maybe it changes, right? I'm sure you've got visions and ideas about what comes next, but you'll pressure test and you'll tweak along the way. So maybe, aside from kind of what the roadmap might look like today or tomorrow, would you share a little bit about your hopes for Travel Ready and what are you sort of excited about in this upcoming chapter?
Yeah. My hopes and dreams, I'm dreaming big here, right? That it becomes a household name for travel, kind of like Expedia already is, or Trivago, or I don't even know, maybe people don't even know these names of things in the
They
travel space.
surely do.
Yeah. I think people in the who travel a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like anybody's like, oh, you got your trip booked. Did you do your travel ready? Like, did you get travel ready?
Mm-hmm.
Did you do that? And everybody, it's just kind of the next step after you book your flight, you get travel ready.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my dream for it. And then the other side of it is also that it's integrated with existing businesses for like travel agents, for example, or certain airlines have this perk where they're like, they have like their branded version of Travel Ready. So if you book a flight with them, you don't have to do anything. You're already getting nudges from the airline to remind you to do all of these things that Travel Ready reminds you. Like some airlines already will be like, you need to get your ETA, your ESTA, your visa, whatever. A lot of them don't. And I've had friends who've not been able to board their flights
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they didn't know they needed an ESTA to come here because you don't need a visa, but you need something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
that's the bummer.
yeah, it's a huge bummer. And she was like, why didn't the airline tell me? I'm like, I don't know, but I'm going to tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, they bury it deep in there. It's
Yeah.
like, or it's like an ambiguous question of like, have you checked to see if you need anything? And you're like, do I need something? Can't you just tell me?
Yeah. I mean, there's a huge liability there because it changes so much. It's different from passport to passport.
Mm-hmm.
So that is going to be one of my biggest challenges with Travel Ready. But there's some wording in there to be like, you probably need a visa. You probably don't need a visa, but you probably need this thing. Just so it's like, I'm not saying you definitely need it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but you do need to check.
Yeah. But like we checked for you and this is the information we found. Here's the official source. And
Yeah,
if you
that's way better.
here's the link to go do that now. So yeah, my dreams are big for Travel Ready. It's like much bigger than a travel blog.
Mhm.
And I think I can get there.
I
I
know
do
you.
too. I do too. Um, I'm just gonna wrap us up with one final question here. So, just taking us back to the laziness comment, what is one belief that you hold about your laziness that actually became a powerful force in business growth?
Hmm. That is a really good question. Laziness to me kind of falls hand in hand with doing whatever I want.
Hmm.
And I really have to listen to my own body at times of like if I'm too tired to do something, if I'm too uninterested in doing something, picking what I'm most interested in right now and working on that actually gives me so much energy.
Hmm.
So when I think I'm super tired, I think I'm feeling super lazy and don't want to do anything, it's a lot of times the one thing that I think I need to do right now that's making me feel that way. But I'm like, let me look at my to-do list. I'm like, actually, this one is giving me energy right now.
Hmm.
So let me work on that. And then 3 hours later, I'm like, I've been in it. I've been doing all the stuff, and
Hmm.
I don't feel tired now. I
Yeah.
feel energized. So it's like really just listening to my body and my brain. And also, I schedule naps into my day.
Smart.
So if I need it, sometimes I don't need them, but if I need it, I have it scheduled into my day. So I could even just lay and like close my eyes for a little bit.
Hmm.
And that's also part of listening to your body and giving yourself some rest time because rest is productive. That's always what I say too. And you're saying, I'm not being productive enough. Rest is productive because you're going to burn out otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
And you never know. For me, sometimes like the really tough problems sort of percolate in the back of your mind. Maybe it's in your subconscious or somewhere in between conscious and subconscious. But I find in listening to my own body and taking a step away, sometimes that's when you come back and you have the idea you've been searching for. Does that happen to you?
I literally dreamt about Travel Ready. That is how the idea came to me. And it's like it's somewhere between sleeping and being awake. There's like that little space that you have where you're like not fully awake yet. And I literally was laying there in my mind using an app that had all of the local apps for a place I was going.
Yeah.
And I woke up and I was like, did that really happen? Was that something I used? And then I looked into it. I was like, wait, that doesn't exist. I'm going to make it.
Awesome. I love it.
That's the
And
the
yeah, that happens.
from the funniest places, but
Yeah.
incredible. Thank you so much, Cara, for sharing your story with us. I know we're excited to follow the continued success of Travel Ready and just of you as a founder and solopreneur. I have a feeling that Travel Ready will be successful and also there will be more to come beyond that platform in your career and in your life. And so we're just happy we've made the connection with you and look forward to following. Last sort of, I know Amy promised that was last question, but I'll tack a quick one on. If listeners are interested in learning more about you or just reading further about Travel Ready, where can they find information about that?
Yeah. So if you want to check out Travel Ready, it's totally free to use. You just go and put your destination and then your passport country, not like details or anything like that. And that is travelready.com and it's spelled REDDI is ready. So
Mhm.
go ahead and check it out. I would love if you did. If you would like to check out my book, the first chapter and introduction are available for free as well. You could go to caralaban.com/book and you'll be able to download that for free. And feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and follow my journey. I would love if you did.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Cara.
Thanks, Cara.
Thank you.
Bye bye.